Hello, and welcome to our new series called Peace Now, Making a Difference. I'm Gabriella Gallagher, the National Chair of Canadian Friends of Peace Now. Our organization is partners with Peace Now, Shalom, Achshav, which is Israel's premier peace movement and which supports the two-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Each of the short videos in this series will look at a specific aspect of this conflict and how Peace Now is taking action for positive change. We are very honored to have as our guest Dana Mills, the Interim Executive Director of Peace Now and also External Relations Director. So let's get started. So thank you again, Dana, for showing up for these video series. We're so glad to have you with us, and it's been very illuminating. Our subject today is the settlement of Evyatar and why this is an issue for Peace Now and for the Peace Camp. I understand that Peace Now is very concerned about government plans to establish a new settlement deep in the West Bank, south of Nablus, where the illegal outpost of Evyatar stood. Please tell us a little bit about the history of this outpost and the government decision.
Thank you so much for having me. So the outpost of Evyatar, as it is nicknamed, was founded after the murder of Beita in Palestinian gunfire. Many of the illegal outposts are founded as a response to murder of Israeli civilians and or settlers in clashes. And one of the really important and interesting things about this outpost is that it was founded just in the process of this government, the government of change, as it is nicknamed, taking power and getting into its being. And this outpost is not far from the Palestinian village of Beita, and in fact is on part of its lands. A lot of the status of the land was unclear until very recently. I can talk about the process later if that's of interest. But generally, this is the first real challenge in terms of annexation that came into this government, and the government didn't act quick enough or indeed in an incisive enough way. And this outpost showed the division both within the coalition government, where many partners in the coalition government who are pro-annexation, who are against a two-state solution, did not see any reason to act against Evyatar, and in fact thought that the settlers should basically stay there, whereas the anti-annexation and the pro-two-state solution camp advocated to evict Evyatar and gave public promises that there will not be a settlement there. And in addition, this outpost also shows the division between different camps in the Israeli right, where there are settlers that are to the extreme right of this government, who do not think that they need to work with this government, who try to challenge it from the right. And then there are the settlers who try to collaborate with the government and try to lobby their representatives, etc. So this outpost really brought home the divisions both within the government and outside of it. Okay,
from my reading, I understand that the plan is to establish a yeshiva. So isn't that different from a quote, real settlement?
Well, if a yeshiva is founded on your land, then you don't care if it's a yeshiva or a settlement. It is basically a foreign community, a foreign population that is placed within your village and your lands. It should be mentioned in this context that many Palestinians were already killed in gunfire while protesting the outpost of Evyatar. So the price in blood has already been paid, and it has been heavy. And whether or not this is a yeshiva or a settlement, whatever the difference is, the price is still very hefty for the Palestinians who live in Beita and around that area. Moreover, if our public representatives have given their word and said there will not be any building in Evyatar, that includes a yeshiva. If there was a yeshiva in Evyatar, there would be army forces guarding it, there would be people around it, and it would basically open a door for anything further. So we do not think that a yeshiva is legitimate in any possible way.
Okay, so Peace Now has issued a report on this, which is available on your website. And but so in the words of your report, you can call this the establishment or the plans severe folly. What do you mean by that, and why?
Well, as long as you let settlements stay where they are, and you let outposts stay where they are, and then you let them develop, and you let families come there, and then you let other families come there, and you start farming, and you start connection to the land, eviction is harder. So any day that passes in places that should be evicted, and illegal outposts in their title, you know, they are illegal by law, that just creates more danger in terms of the process afterwards. As I said, there have been verbatim explicit promises from representatives from the government, including Yair Lapid, the foreign minister, including Omer Bar-Lev, who's the interior defense minister, saying they will not be building an Evyatar, it will not be an outpost. If that is indeed the case, they should guarantee this doesn't happen and not let those who come in the middle of the night often and create all these illegal structures to be rewarded for breaking the law. Either the law applies to everyone or it applies to no one at all. This kind of law breaking and then being rewarded afterwards makes no sense. So we believe that the sooner that Evyatar as a whole is evicted, the better. It will save heartache in the future. We as a movement do not underestimate how hard it is to evict and how hard it is to leave homes, whether we think they should be there or not. So the sooner that Evyatar is evicted, the easier it would be for everyone.
Okay. So what is Peace Now doing specifically to raise the alarm bells about this, about Evyatar?
Well, we are, as everything that we do, we are an advocacy movement that is focused on the Israeli public. So we have been very consistently advocating about Evyatar, bringing it to the headlines, raising the questions to ministers, to members of Knesset, and making sure that they keep their word and the Israeli public knows what they stood for. For many Israelis, they don't know what that means. They don't know what an outpost means. What is the consequence? Why is that a bad thing? Why should we oppose it? And we try really, really hard to bring the everyday consequences, both in terms of the cost, what it means to bring the army there, what it means to bring basically safeguarding of the settlers, and also it must be noted, Palestinian lives and Palestinian property, because again, there have been many lives lost already in Beita, and the property itself, Palestinian property, has been severely damaged and harmed. So we work really hard to bring that to the awareness of the Israeli public.
Dana, thank you so much for sharing your insights and expertise, and for your sobering but inspiring words as well. Thank you to Jonathan Gendler for helping put this series together. A reminder to our viewers, all the interviews in this series will be posted to our website, www.peacenowcanada.org. There's lots more on this website, so please visit it, learn about Canadian Friends of Peace Now, and please support us through a donation if you can. Thank you for watching. See you soon again.